The alien named Vril watched the human woman from across the lab with curious six-pupiled eyes. Her species, the Zarthians, had studied humans for decades, but direct contact remained strictly prohibited. Vril had been assigned to observe Kate Wilson, a researcher who worked at the Joint Human-Alien Science Facility. Her assignment was simple: document human behaviors and report back to her superiors. No interaction, no contact, just observation. Kate worked diligently at her station, unaware of the intense focus she was receiving from her alien counterpart. The human moved with such strange grace, typing on her computer and occasionally pushing her brown hair away from her face. On Zarthia, touching was reserved for the closest of bonds to touch. Another being was to share energy life force itself. The Zarthian High Council had declared humans too fragile for such exchanges, claiming their primitive bodies would burn out from the connection. But Vril had her doubts. She had watched Kate interact with other humans, seen them embrace, pat shoulders, and even hold hands. The humans seemed not only unharmed, but strengthened by these interactions. It contradicted everything she had been taught. One day, while monitoring the security feeds, Vril noticed Kate alone in the lab after hours. The human appeared to be crying, something Vril had only witnessed twice before. She felt an unfamiliar ache in her chest watching the woman suffer alone, against every regulation and years of training Vril made. Her decision. She entered the lab. Kate looked up, startled by the appearance of the 7-foot-tall alien with iridescent blue skin. Vril held up her 4-fingered hand in the universal gesture for peace. Kate wiped her tears. No one was supposed to be here at this hour, especially not a Zarthian. Do you need something, Vril? The human asked, trying to compose herself. Vril hesitated before responding in her melodic accent. Your sadness. I felt it from the observation deck. Kate seemed surprised. I didn't know your species could sense emotions. We cannot, Vril admitted. But I have studied you for 6 months. I recognize your expressions. The human appeared uncertain but not afraid. Why are you here then? I wanted to know why you weep. Vril said, moving closer, her long limbs moving with the natural fluid grace of her species. My mother passed away, Kate explained. She lived far from here. I could not reach her in time. Vril tilted her head. Death, the final transition. It is painful for humans. Yes, Kate whispered. Very painful on Zarthia. We believe energy transfers never truly end. Vril said. We only change forms. Kate looked at her with interest. You mean, like a soul? Perhaps. Vril moved closer, still close enough that she could see the water clinging to the human's eyelashes. Vril felt a powerful urge to reach out, something strictly forbidden by her people. Why are your people so afraid of touching us? Kate asked suddenly. Vril was startled by the direct question. We are not afraid. We protect you. Our touch transfers energy. Your bodies might not withstand it. Kate looked skeptical. We've been working together for years now. No Zarthian has ever touched a human. How do you know what would happen? Vril had no answer. The prohibition was ancient, dating back to first contact. She had never questioned it before meeting. Kate, would you try? Kate asked, holding out her hand. Palm up, a challenge and invitation. Every cell in Vril's body screamed warning. But something deeper pushed her forward. She slowly extended her hand, hovering centimeters above Kate's skin. Are you certain? Vril asked. This violates every protocol. I'm a scientist, Kate said with a small smile. So are you. Let's find out together. The moment their hands connected, a soft blue glow emanated from the point of contact. Vril gasped, feeling an immediate rush of emotions, not her own. Grief, joy, fear, wonder. All mingled together, flowing between them. Kate inhaled sharply, but did not pull away. I can feel you, she whispered. I can feel your curiosity, your doubt. The connection deepened. Vril could sense Kate's life force, vibrant and strong, not fragile as she had been taught. Human energy patterns were different, but not incompatible. If anything, they seemed to resonate with her own, creating harmonies rather than discord. When they finally separated, both were breathing heavily. You did not burn. Vril stated with wonder. No, Kate smiled. Did you expect me to? My people have feared this connection for generations, Vril explained. We're told humans were too weak that contact would destroy you. Kate laughed softly, touching her own hand where the blue glow had faded. Maybe your people were protecting themselves, not us. The realization hit Vril like a physical blow. Perhaps the Zarthian High Council feared what would happen if the species truly connected. Perhaps humans were not the fragile ones. Perhaps her own people feared the strength they might find in such bonds. That night, Vril made her report to her superiors, but omitted the touch experiment. She needed time to process what had happened and what it might mean for both species over the following weeks. Vril and Kate met in secret, continuing their experiments, documenting each interaction. Each time the connection grew stronger and more information flowed between them. Memories, feelings, knowledge all shared in moments of contact. Vril learned of Kate's childhood, her struggles, her triumphs. Kate experienced Vril's homeworld through shared memories, saw the 3 moons of Zarthia, and felt the sacred rituals of her people. What they discovered shattered every preconception. The touch did not harm either of them. Instead, it created something new. A bridge between species, a deeper understanding than years of formal diplomacy had achieved. Their secret meetings continued for a month, until they were discovered by Susan Green, another human scientist who walked in on them during a connection session. Susan froze at the doorway, her eyes wide with shock. "What are you doing?" she gasped. Kate and Vril separated instantly, the blue glow fading between their hands. "Susan, it's not what you think," Kate began. "We are conducting experiments." "Experiments," Susan repeated, her voice rising. "It's forbidden. Zarthians can't touch humans." Everyone knows that. Vril stood tall, her blue skin shimmering with agitation. "We have been testing this belief for weeks with no harm to either of us." Susan looked between them, clearly conflicted. "But the protocols, the warnings, they were wrong," Kate said firmly. "Look at us. Are either of us harmed?" Susan approached cautiously, studying them both. "How is this possible? What happens when you touch?" Kate smiled. "It feels like a connection. A sharing of energy, emotions, even memories. This must be reported," Susan said. But instead of reaching for the alarm, she sat down. "Please show me." Vril and Kate exchanged glances. This was unexpected, but perhaps another witness would strengthen their case. Vril extended her hand toward Susan, who hesitated only briefly before placing her palm against the alien's blue skin. The now familiar glow appeared less intense than with Kate, but unmistakable. Susan gasped, her eyes widening. I can feel, I can see. This is amazing." When they separated, Susan was silent for a long moment. Then she looked up with determination. "More people need to know about this. This changes everything." The 3 women formed a plan. They would gather more data, conduct more tests with willing volunteers. They needed irrefutable evidence before approaching the Zarthian High Council. Word spread quietly through the human staff of the facility. Soon a small group gathered after hours to experience the connection. Everyone sworn to secrecy. Everyone amazed by the results. Mia Johnson, a human doctor, monitored the health of all participants. No negative effects were detected. If anything, both humans and the few Zarthians who joined their experiment showed improved mental health and heightened cognitive abilities after repeated connections. The humans were especially fascinated by the glimpses they received of Zarthian culture through the touch connections. Their art, their music, their philosophy, all shared directly, mind to mind. One evening 2 months into their secret experiment, Vril received an urgent message from her superior. Elder Thrawn was requesting her presence immediately. Vril entered the Elder's chamber, her heart racing. Had they been discovered? Elder Thrawn, a tall Zarthian with pale, lavender skin, regarded Vril with all 6 of her eyes. "I have been receiving strange reports." Observer Vril reports of unauthorized activities in the human section of the facility. Vril maintained her composure. "What sort of activities?" Elder reports of Zarthians and humans meeting in secret. Elder Thrawn said, watching Vril carefully. "Reports of forbidden contact. Vril knew denying would be useless. The elder was too perceptive. Yes, elder. It is true. Elder Thrawn leaned forward. And what have you discovered through this violation of our most sacred law? Vril straightened her shoulders. They were wrong. The ancient laws were wrong. Humans are not harmed by our touch. If anything, they are strengthened by it. As are we. The elder was silent for a long moment. You have evidence of this, yes? Vril said. We have been documenting everything. Heart rates, brain activity, energy fluctuations. All positive. No harm has come to any participant human or Zarthian. Show me. Elder Thrawn said unexpectedly. Vril blinked in surprise. You wish to see the evidence? No. Elder Thrawn extended her hand. Show me. Vril hesitated only briefly before placing her hand against her elder's. The blue glow appeared, and Vril shared everything she had experienced over the past months. Every touch, every connection, every discovery. When they separated, Elder Thrawn sat in silence for several minutes. Finally, she spoke. This knowledge has been hidden from us. For centuries we have been told the humans would burn with our touch, that their bodies would crumble, their minds would break. And now we know differently, Vril said. Yes. Elder Thrawn nodded. But the High Council will not easily accept this. They have built too much of our policy on the separation. The fear runs too deep. What will you do? Vril asked. The elder looked at her with new respect. I will call for a full investigation and I will recommend you lead it. The investigation moved quickly with Elder Thrawn providing official approval for controlled touch experiments. The small group that had been meeting in secret now operated openly in a dedicated lab space. Word spread throughout the facility. More volunteers came forward, both human and Zarthian. Each new connection added to their growing database of positive results. Kate and Vril worked side by side, documenting every interaction. Months of data collection confirmed what they had discovered. That first night, the energy exchange between species created no harm. In fact, it appeared to generate new neural pathways in both species' brains, enabling faster learning and deeper empathy. For the first time since first contact, humans began to learn the Zarthian language with surprising speed, and Zarthians gained a deeper understanding of human emotions previously, a mystery to their logic-centered minds, but not everyone welcomed this development. High Counselor Zeph arrived unannounced. At the facility, his entourage of guards creating tension as they marched through the halls. His reputation preceded him, a staunch traditionalist who had long advocated for limiting contact with humans. Elder Thrawn met him in the main conference room, Vril and Kate standing behind her. High Counselor Zeph did not waste time on pleasantries. You have authorized forbidden contact, Elder Thrawn. This is a direct violation of our most sacred laws. Elder Thrawn remained calm. We are conducting scientific research based on new evidence gathered through violation of protocol. Zeph countered, his skin darkening with anger. The law exists for a reason. Our ancestors knew the dangers of direct contact with primitive species. Vril stepped forward. Respectfully, High Counselor, our research shows no danger. The touch exchange benefits both species. Zeph turned his 6 eyes toward Vril. Observer, you have overstepped your authority. I invited Observer Vril to lead this investigation. Elder Thrawn said her findings have been verified by multiple scientists, both Zarthian and human. Zeph looked at Kate with obvious distaste. And you, human, what do you gain from this knowledge? Kate answered simply, understanding. A chance for true cooperation between our species. The High Counselor made a dismissive gesture. This facility will be closed pending review by the full council. No further contact experiments will be permitted. Elder Thrawn straightened to her full height. That is not your decision alone to make, High Counselor, but the damage was done. Within hours, guards were posted throughout the facility. All touch experiments suspended. All data secured for review. That evening, Kate found Vril in their now empty lab. The alien stood by the window, staring at the stars. They can't just dismiss all our findings, Kate said. They can, Vril replied. They fear what this means. Kate moved closer. What does it mean? Vril turned to her. If our peoples truly connect, if we share energy and knowledge so directly, what need would there be for the High Council? Their power comes from controlling information, controlling contact. Kate nodded slowly. It's the same with some human leaders. They maintain power by keeping people divided, by creating fear of the other. What happens now? Vril asked. We don't give up. Kate said. We have too much evidence, too many witnesses. Both humans and Zarthians have experienced the benefits. They can't make us forget. The next day, a delegation of human leaders arrived at the facility. They had been informed of the touch experiments and demanded to see the results for themselves. The human ambassador Diane Porter faced off against High Counselor Zeph in the main conference hall. Your people have been conducting unauthorized biological experiments, Ambassador Porter said. The touch protocol was established for the safety of both species. Our scientists report no safety concerns, Ambassador Diane replied. Quite the opposite. In fact, Zeph interrupted. Your scientists lack the historical context to understand the risks. Then help us understand, Diane challenged. Show us the evidence of harm. The conference room fell silent. Zeph had no response. From the back of the room, Susan stepped forward. I have experienced the touch connection, so have 30 other humans and 18 Zarthians. None of us suffered any negative effects. Many of us have gained insights and abilities we never had before. I learned more about Zarthian culture in 5 minutes of connection than in 5 years of study. Others began to stand, both humans and Zarthians, each sharing their experiences. A Zarthian scientist named Morel spoke. I have touched minds with 3 different humans. My understanding of their art, their music has expanded beyond measure. No text, no lecture could have conveyed such depth. Mia, the human doctor, presented her medical findings. Brain scans before and after connection showed increased activity in regions associated with empathy and higher reasoning in both species. No signs of damage or stress. High Counselor Zeph watched as more testimonies came forward, his opposition visibly weakening as the evidence mounted. Finally, Elder Thrawn addressed both delegations. The ancient laws were created before we truly understood humans. They were based on fear, not fact. It is time to re-examine them in light of new evidence, Ambassador. Diane nodded. We propose a joint commission to study the effects of touch connection, a transparent investigation with representatives from both species. Even Zeph could see the tide turning against tradition, against centuries of separation. Very well, he conceded, a commission, but limited supervised contact only until final determinations are made. It was a small victory, but enough to continue their work later. Kate found Vril in the garden facility. The alien was tending to a small plot of earth flowers, a new hobby she had developed since their first connection. They tried to stop us, Kate said, sitting beside her. They failed. Vril replied, simply. The human smiled. Do you think they're afraid of what will happen when more of us connect? When the knowledge spreads, Vril nodded. They fear change. They fear losing control. But mostly, I think they fear discovering they have been wrong for so long. The Joint Commission began its work thoroughly, testing the effects of touch connection under strict observation. Every session was recorded. Every participant monitored for physical and psychological changes. 3 months of intensive study produced a comprehensive report. The evidence was clear. Touch connection between humans and Zarthians produced no harmful effects. Instead, it facilitated unprecedented cultural exchange and accelerated learning in both species. High Counselor Zeph reviewed the findings with growing unease. His entire career had been built on maintaining separation between the species. If the ancient laws were proven wrong, what would that mean for the power structure on Zarthia? The High Council convened a special session. To review the commission findings, Elder Thrawn presented the report with Vril at her side. For generations, we have kept ourselves separate from humans based on beliefs that their bodies could not withstand our energy. Elder Thrawn stated these beliefs have been proven false. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some elders refused to accept the findings. Others demanded more research. Still others saw opportunity in closer relations with humans. High Counselor Zeph rose to speak. Even if what you say is true that humans are not harmed by our touch, there are other considerations. The ancient laws protect more than just human bodies. They protect our culture, our traditions, our way of life. Elder Thrawn nodded respectfully. But at what cost, High Counselor? We have denied ourselves and humans the benefits of true connection for centuries based on fear, not fact. The debate continued for days, until finally a compromise was reached. Limited touch connection would be permitted in controlled settings. Under supervision, a step forward if a small one. On Earth, news of the breakthrough spread quickly. Humans had always been fascinated by their alien neighbors, and the possibility of deeper connections sparked worldwide interest. Kate became something of a celebrity, the first human to successfully connect with a Zarthian. She appeared on news programs explaining the experience in terms humans could understand. It's like seeing through someone else's eyes, she explained. Not just their physical vision, but their perspective, their memories, their feelings. You understand them in a way words could never convey. Applications poured in from humans, volunteering for the touch program. Scientists, artists, diplomats, all eager to experience alien connection firsthand. The Zarthians were more cautious. Centuries of cultural taboo did not disappear overnight, but a growing number of younger Zarthians expressed interest, challenging the old ways. 6 months after the Council's decision, the first official human Zarthian cultural exchange program was established. 100 humans and 100 Zarthians would participate in supervised touch sessions over the course of a year. Documenting the results, Kate and Vril were appointed to lead the program, their expertise now officially recognized the day before the program launched. Kate found Vril in their shared office. The alien seemed troubled. "What is it?" Kate asked. Vril turned to her. "Something has been bothering me since we began this work. Why did our ancestors create the touch prohibition in the first place? What did they fear?" Kate considered this. "We assumed they thought humans were too fragile. But what if there was another reason?" Vril nodded. "That is what troubles me. We have searched the ancient archives and found no scientific basis for the prohibition. No failed experiments. No evidence of harm to either species." So why? Kate wondered. Perhaps Vril said, it was never about protecting humans. Perhaps it was about protecting Zarthians from what Vril gestured to the window where Earth was visible in the distance, from change, from connection, from becoming something new. When species connect deeply, share energy and knowledge, neither remains the same. Each is transformed. Kate smiled slowly. "You think they feared losing their identity?" Vril nodded. "Among my people, identity is sacred. Our lineage, our traditions, our separation from other species, it defines us." Kate took Vril's hand, the now familiar blue glow connecting them. Change isn't loss, she thought, feeling Vril receive the idea. It's growth. The first day of the official program arrived. The selected participants gathered in the large ceremonial hall. Nervous excitement filled the air as humans and Zarthians prepared for their first sanctioned connections. High Counselor Zeph watched from the observation deck. His expression unreadable. Elder Thrawn joined him. "You still have doubts?" Zeph did not look at her. "We are changing something fundamental. Elder. Something that has defined our relationship with humans since first contact." "Yes," Elder Thrawn agreed. "That is precisely the point." Below them, the first pairs were connecting. Soft blue glows illuminating the hall like stars. Gasps of wonder and surprise filled the air as humans and Zarthians experienced each other for the first time. One young Zarthian was laughing, a rare sound from their species, as she shared some human experience that delighted her. A human man was speaking perfect Zarthian after just one connection, his accent flawless. Zeph watched in silence, then finally spoke. "Perhaps change was inevitable, Elder." Thrawn placed a hand on his arm. Change has always been inevitable. High Counselor, we can only choose whether to resist it or guide it. As the program continued over the following weeks, the results exceeded even the most optimistic predictions. Humans with no prior artistic ability began creating works inspired by Zarthian aesthetics. Zarthians developed new emotional intelligence previously thought impossible for their species. Musicians from both species created new forms of music that combined human emotion with Zarthian mathematical precision. Scientists made breakthroughs in joint research projects, their minds now able to approach problems from entirely new perspectives. And throughout it all, Kate and Vril documented every change, every discovery, every new possibility. 1 year after the first official touch program, the results were undeniable. The connection between humans and Zarthians had accelerated progress in medicine, technology, and the arts. Both societies benefited in ways that would have taken decades. Through traditional exchange, the Zarthian High Council met to review the final reports and make their decision. Would the ancient prohibition be fully lifted? Would touch become a normal part of human-Zarthian relations? High Counselor Zeph, who had once been the strongest opponent, now stood before the council a changed leader. I have witnessed the benefits of connection. He began. I have seen how both our peoples have grown through sharing. I have even experienced it myself. A murmur ran through the council. Zeph had connected with a human. This was unexpected. Yes, I have touched minds with Ambassador Diane. Zeph confirmed. We shared our concerns, our hopes for our peoples. Through her eyes, I saw humanity not as primitive or fragile, but as young, vibrant, full of potential. Through my mind, she understood the weight of our traditions, the value we place on continuity. The council listened as Zeph continued. For centuries, we have held ourselves apart, believing separation protected us. But what if connection is our true strength? What if, by joining our energy with humans, we create something greater than either could achieve alone? When the final vote came, it was unanimous. The touch prohibition would be lifted with proper guidelines, and education touch connection between humans and Zarthians would be permitted throughout their shared territories. The news spread quickly across both worlds. Some celebrated, others worried about too much change too quickly, but no one could deny the evidence, the benefits, the possibilities. On the day of the official announcement, Kate and Vril stood together in the garden they had planted. A blend of earth flowers and Zarthian crystal plants growing side by side. We changed everything, Kate said, still amazed by how far they had come. No, Vril corrected. We discovered what was always possible. Kate smiled. If you had not come to me that night, if you had not broken the rules. Vril touched Kate's hand gently, the now familiar glow connecting them. Some rules exist only because no one has questioned them. The ceremony to mark the new era was held on neutral ground. A space station orbiting between Earth and Zarthia. Leaders from both worlds gathered to formalize the new protocol's ambassador. Diane and High Counselor Zeph stood before the assembled crowd, their hands joined in connection, a symbol of the new relationship between their species. Today we acknowledge a truth too long denied. Diane spoke. They are not fragile, and we are not dangerous together. We are stronger. Zeph continued in the human tongue, a skill he had gained through connection. Today we begin a new chapter in our shared history, not as separate species but as partners in discovery. The first official human Zarthian touch ceremony took place as cameras recorded the historic moment. Leaders from both worlds placed palms together. The blue glow visible to all. Vril watched from the sidelines, standing beside Kate. They would have never known if we hadn't broken the rules, Kate whispered. Sometimes rules exist because of fear, not wisdom, Vril replied. Their hands found each other, a gesture now comfortable and familiar. As news of the breakthrough spread, more humans and Zarthians began to share touch, and with it came a renaissance of cooperation and innovation. The energy exchange accelerated. Learning created deeper bonds and opened possibilities neither species had imagined alone. 6 months after the official lifting of the prohibition, the first human Zarthian child was born. Not a biological child, but a consciousness created through sustained connection between a human woman named Amy and a Zarthian named Loril. They had shared thoughts so completely for so long that a new awareness had formed. Between them, neither fully human nor fully Zarthian, but something entirely new. The child named Dawn was a consciousness that could inhabit either a human or Zarthian body for short periods, experiencing both worlds, both perspectives. The first of a new kind of being. Scientists were baffled. Theologians debated, philosophers contemplated the implications. But Dawn simply existed, a bridge between worlds. Proof that connection could create more than just understanding. 5 years after their first touch, Vril and Kate stood on the observation deck of the joint academy they had founded, an institution dedicated to exploring the potential of human-Zarthian connection. New discoveries emerged, daily new possibilities. New questions. Kate now spoke. Fluent Zarthian, and Vril understood human emotion with a depth few of her kind could match. They had grown, changed, become more than they were while remaining true to their own natures. "What do you think will happen next?" Kate asked as they watched. Students below, some human, some Zarthian, some like Dawn, something in between. Vril considered the question. "We have only begun to explore what is possible. The barriers between our peoples existed for so long. We have centuries of separation to overcome." Kate nodded. "Do you ever regret it?" Breaking the rules that night, Vril turned all 6 eyes toward Kate, her expression soft. "The greatest discoveries require the courage to question what everyone believes to be true." A group of children ran past, some with blue skin, some with pink, all laughing together. Their small hands connected, sharing energy, sharing joy. The next generation for whom touch between species would never be forbidden, never be feared, simply a natural part of their world. Vril watched them go. "Something beautiful emerges when different worlds connect," she said. "Something neither world could create alone." Kate squeezed her hand, the blue glow between them now as familiar as breathing. And it all began with a forbidden touch.